Let's go live. Let's go live. Oh, I love it when we come in. We already have 123 likes. Thank you guys. Come on, and one dislike. Thank you for watching. How you doing? Guys, let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. We are live on the Kempire YouTube channel. We are also live on Facebook, the Kempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook. We're live on Twitch, Twitter, and behind the scenes on TikTok. We were already just keying Backstage here on TikTok. So shout out to all of you that follow me on TikTok. We didn't do a watch party last night. I'm sorry. It was a nice day here in New York City. I said, let me go enjoy it. Go get some dinner, hang out. You know, look. It's summertime. Kempire's in these streets. Kempire's in these streets. Yeah, Kempire's in these streets. First of all, guys, this is the final recap. The final recap for the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion, season 13, part 3. Reunion. Oh my God, I am so happy for it to be over. And look, you know I love all of you. You know I love us having these conversations about pop culture, reality TV. But somewhere in the universe, there is, in the Bravo universe, there is folks that could use some help, could use some sunshine. Vitamin D, both the sun and maybe some of the other D. Wait. Because Lord have mercy, the Real Housewives of New Jersey, I'm just gonna say stands, not the fans, because I would say we are fans. Like, we could see both sides of the coin. We could see both sides of the situation. We could twerk on a fence and love each other the next day. Some of these folks have lost their everlasting mind. But I am also reminded that, you know, Louie is involved in, oh, okay, never mind. But I also understand that there are bots and there are fake accounts, and we're living in a whole other era of just craziness when it comes to social media and what exists on social media. But let me tell you, I am so happy that this season's over, the Real Housewives of New Jersey, because of toxicity from the fandom. I'm not gonna even blame the housewives or the husbands or Bravo. No, the fans, child, go get you some vitamin D. Go get you some vitamin D. It will help with your mood and get you out the house and off the phone. Well, look, let's be honest. Some of you out the house and still on the phone. Just saying. Shout out to all of you for being here. Let's get into a countdown. Let's get those likes up. Let's spread the word. We are live to talk about the final episode of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 13. Okay, let's do this.
Baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead. Just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up. Cool.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. It is a subscribers only live chat, but if you're part of the replay crew or the later on crew, as we like to call them, be sure to let us know how you would rate the episode, where you're watching from, what you thought of the episode, what you thought of the season. Be sure to let us know. Guys, as always, as a reminder, because as I started off this live and we were talking about the toxicity of the fandom and things like that, please, no matter where you lean in regards to what side of the situation, of this housewives situation you lean, Please respect everyone's opinions. I don't care if you are a tree hugger. I'm gonna call you tree huggers this week, okay? I don't care if you're a tree hugger or if you are a I don't what we call them again in regards to Melissa stands, whatever side or Margaret stands, whatever. Please respect everyone's opinions in the comment section and in the live chat. Our King's Guards will get you together if you do not. The same goes for when people call in at the end of this live. And if you have something to say about me, understand I don't care. Oh my goodness. I randomly, like, I don't get to see all the comments. Someone said on my Instagram, I used to like you, but you're Team Melissa. I've said this already during the season. I'll say it one more time. Be Team you. Stop being Team anybody else, because so many of you are not Team you that you are letting your mental health and your physical health deplete. Be Team you. I'm Team me all day, every day. And some of you are Team Kempire, and I appreciate the support. But I'm always going to remind you over here to be Team you, because you don't know none of these people. And even if you did, you should still be Team you. Anyway, so back to this. So the husbands finally come out of the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion. And as you know, the New Jersey house husbands are far bigger and far more relevant in regards to the show than any other housewives show. To the point where they get their own paycheck, allegedly. I don't think they've ever confirmed that. But those husbands get a lot more airtime than any of the other husbands, okay? And look, I know last season I said, okay, you guys were getting you're giving them too much airtime. This season, I feel like they pulled back just a little bit. But we still enjoy seeing the husbands. So the husbands come out. At least this show still has husbands. You know, some of these other housewives shows, like, it's hard to find a husband. Okay? So the husbands come out. As you know, last week, Andy went to Louie and says, you know, I want to keep it cordial. I don't want any fighting, blah, 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 blah. You know, by the end of, you know how many times I rewound this reunion? Because I watched the unedited, well, I guess the extended version of the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion on Peacock. They're not paying me, but so hearing the curse words and things like that. But there were also little things that we didn't see before in the initial one that aired last night. All right. So Andy, you know, tries to convince Louie and even speak to Joe Gorga, please be calm. Like, no one getting out of their seat. I have to say this though, Joe Gorga, I mean, normally he's a hothead. And there were moments where he almost got there, but he was far pulled back more than usual. And maybe because Andy gave him that warning, but usually he don't care about those warnings. Just saying. So I was like, by the end, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Joe Gorga was pretty calm. Joe Gorga was pretty calm. So I'm going to jump around a little bit because this is our recap. This is our conversation. Okay. So I'm gonna probably jump around a little bit, but before I came live, I did a quick video on my TikTok, just saying, you know what, John Fuda, where's my picture of John Fuda? Hold on, y'all. Let me bring my picture of John Fuda. John Fuda, you know, he didn't really bring a lot during the season, but John Fuda for me in this reunion, I respected what he had to say because at the end of the day, these are real people with real lives and real families, and sometimes you fans take it way too far. Because you I don't know, on some delusion, don't realize that these are real people, that some of the things that you do online can affect their lives and their children's lives. So, you know, during this reunion, part 3, John Fuda accuses Louie of reaching out to his baby's mama, okay? The mother of his child, the biological mother of his child, okay? Jaden. Because people are wondering, how exactly did anyone find where this woman was, blah, blah, blah. Look, there are ways to find people. You just have to reach out. You just have to do the work. So he's accusing Louie of doing that and then bringing that woman's information to the blogs. I don't know. But John Fuda was not here for it. Because John says that he knows for a fact that Louie did it. He says he knows for a fact because he's like, I know people too. And here's the thing that I want to say, and I can revisit it later. I think Louie believes, because we already said this, Louie doesn't mix well with these guys. He doesn't mix well with these guys, and I feel like that's who Louie is in real life. He doesn't mix well with guys in general. All right? Because even his friendship with Dr. Bill Aiden, I'm like, okay, it's for the show. But I believe Joe Fuda over here, he don't have to pay people to give him information. He can just have relationships with people that were like, yo, yeah, he did do this. And yeah, this is what happened. This is what I know. Y'all keep playing. So I believe him when he said, I want to know what was in the envelope. What was in the envelope, John? But John was the walking definition. Okay, for some people don't know what this is. Keep that same energy. Oh, because when Louie came over to John Fuda to talk about, I love what you're doing with your son, blah 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 blah, and then John was like this. He's like, I need you to admit to me. I need you to admit to me that you investigated this situation. And he's like, I can't admit that. I can't admit that. He was like, I really respected John Fuda in that moment. Because I was just like, I like that. Because you know what? He's like, I'm not going to sit here and do what Frank Catania did. Frank, you were all up in your high voice. I was like, Frank, what is going on, Frank? What is going on? All of a sudden, what is there to know? Because Frank tried to make it seem like, oh, we know everything about, his disbarment and the accusation. There might be more about Frank Catania, and part of the reason why he wanted to make peace with Louie, he didn't want to be investigated. All right, no shade. Look, no shade. But John Fuda was like, I'm here for all the smoke. I'm here for all the smoke. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, now you're involving his son. His son. And we don't know the trauma that his son has gone through because of, we already talked about the mom. And now you've unearthed the mom, got us all in the business of reporting on it, but look, that's our job. Unearthed the mom, and now that affects his son. And we don't know what he had to deal with the mom. I already told you a little bit about the mom. Google schmoogle about the mom, okay? We did a whole video talking about her interview and what she was in jail for. Okay? But we will revisit John Fuda. I just had to talk about him because I just did a video. Because I was just like, I will talk more at length TikTok in regards to the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion finale. But John Fuda, in that moment, I was like, all right, we see you. But I'll revisit that. Let's start at the top. Hold on, let me slow down the chat because I do want to see what you guys have to say. I apologize. We already got 1,300 people in the building, over 1,300, almost 1,400 people in the building for our Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion finale. This will be our last time talking about it until the new season starts. And I know a lot of you are like, when is the new season starting? When is it starting? We don't know. I think at the end of this reunion, look, I'm jumping around. I think at this end of this reunion, Andy was sort of giving Melissa and Teresa specifically, an opportunity to be like, so I love how this season you guys were very honest about how you were feeling with each other and you still were able to coexist. I feel like he was sort of giving a foreshadowing. Maybe we can do this. You can still not like each other for next season, but come back. But Teresa is like, no. Teresa, girl. All right, so the house husbands come out. Let's start from the beginning. Come on. The husbands come out. So immediately, first of all, okay, we can talk about the side stuff. Andy Cohen asked, I don't know why he asked Dr. Bill, maybe because it's something he's insecure about. He's like, should I, get Botox? Andy, try it. That's the thing with Botox. You can try it and then it wears off. And then just try it, Andy, if you want to try it. I'm just saying. Teresa then throws Louie under the bus. Yeah, well, Louie has done it, right? Louie, you've done it. He's like, yeah, twice. Louie, you did it more than twice. Stop it. You still getting probably fillers and stuff in your lips and stuff. Look, it's nothing wrong with it. You're metrosexual. We love it. We want more of these men to be a little bit more metrosexual. He's like, yeah, I did it twice. While you were in Nono's pajamas? All right, let's talk about it. Every time I keep telling the people that are out to get Louie and to defame Louie, I told you, you don't need to do anything. Just let the man speak for himself. So they address the whole they address the pajamas, Nono's pajamas. All right? Again, his explanation doesn't make any sense. It's the same explanation that Teresa gave on Watch What Happens Live. It didn't make sense. It looks like he's just running with that explanation. So, oh damn, Justin, come on, leave Andy alone. He said you can't really Botox deep wrinkles. Yeah, but you know, Dr. Bill will work through that. He probably give him a little filler. Look, I'm not saying that he should do any of that stuff. I'm just saying. Just saying. It's also about skincare, Andy, and you know you like to smoke the reefers and stuff. That doesn't help either. And do you have a skincare routine, Andy? I'm just saying. I'm trying to help Andy. He wants to know how to improve his situation and look younger. Stop smoking the stuff. Eat better. Get more rest and sleep. Get more rest and sleep. Just saying. In my opinion, if you wanted my opinion, so many of you asked for the skincare. Just saying, I did my skincare this morning. The other thing, what was it? Oh, damn. The other thing, sunscreen, Andy. I know you'd like to be out over there in the Hamptons, out there in the sun. Sunscreen. Even when you're not out there in the Hamptons, you should, when you're walking down the street under those hot lights, sunscreen. What are we talking about? Back to this. Look. Back to this. So Andy brings up the Nono's pajamas, and we get this explanation from Louie. And Louie basically says, well, and water, exactly, hydrate. He says, well, Teresa had these new pajamas. She still had some stuff left over from Nono, and you know, I know it sounded weird. It didn't come out right. I was trying. He said specifically, he says that it came out wrong. He wore them in an endearing way. He wore them in an endearing way. No matter how he wants to spin it, I thought he could spin it, and maybe we would, you know, maybe see his side of things. He could not even spin it. Nothing that he said and done that we've considered like, he's been able to explain. The Bold Dietl D and Bold Dietl Dumb, they weren't able to explain that whole situation. You literally said it twice on the season finale. You said it at the party, and then you said it again at your house with Dolores looking there like a deer in headlights. That's why Dolores don't want to talk about Frankie Jr. She wants to leave it alone. Dolores, I think Dolores is very old school in that way. She doesn't want to get involved. She's like, she doesn't want to be a rat. It's all about that culture. So she goes by that. So she doesn't want to get involved. We will revisit that in just a second. So we talk about Nono's pajamas. Nono's pajamas, look, there's no way that he can change that. Do you know, I wear your father's pajamas so that your nieces feel safe and loving. That came out wrong. That came out wrong. I meant it in an endearing way. Okay. All right. We're going to leave that in season 13. We're going to leave that in season 13 for now. Not for us. We will continuously bring it up. We will continuously bring it up. All right. Joe says that he wants to believe Louie in that moment. He said he wants to believe him, but he feels like every time he tries to move on with Louie, that Louie screws him. Okay. Joe says that Teresa was humble when she came out of prison. Not camp, prison. All right? And he said that they spoke to each other every day. And Teresa's like, yeah, because we were filming. Please note, they filmed 3 months out of the year. So Teresa, did you not hear from your brother when you weren't filming? And look, Teresa might be correct. Maybe they only had a relationship when they were filming. So Teresa, so that says to me that you also were lying on camera to make it seem like you and your brother had a good relationship when you really didn't, when you really weren't hanging out. They started getting into this whole diatribe about, yeah, you guys told me you didn't want to hang out with me because I was single and blah 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 blah. I couldn't even get to the nitty-gritty of what they were even talking about. But she accused them of, oh, you guys, you didn't want to hang out with me because I was single, and but I don't know. I don't know. Teresa could have been right. Joe could have been. I don't know. In that moment, I did not care because now at this point, it's just petty. This is stuff that has happened. When did she get out of prison? We're bringing all of that up now. So she says that the only time that her brother was speaking to her was when they were filming. Okay. I mean, she keeps saying that. So, like, I got to take her word for it. Joe denies it. Melissa denies it. I got to take her word for it. That, like, this is what she believes. But yet she continued a relationship with them. Because how long has she been out of prison? Even before Louie was in the picture. They seemed like they were getting along. Were they just getting along for the camera? Maybe. Maybe. Okay. All right. Teresa says that she wants, and I saw this a couple of times, even Danielle chimed in, and Louie even said to Melissa, we should stay out of it. Let the brother and sister talk. Here's where, and normally I would say, yeah, Melissa, stay out of it. Here's the difference between Melissa in it and Louie in it. Here's the difference. Buckle up. No. Melissa has been in this family for almost 20. No, she's probably been in the family for 20 years versus Louie's 2. And Melissa has also been the brunt of the accusations over the last 10 years. So I don't mind her chiming in. But you know what, Melissa? Yes, just let Joe speak. Joe is not like Joe Giudice. He can speak for himself. But Danielle, mind your business. Louie, mind your business. Y'all all Johnny-come-latelys. Y'all are not the ones being thrown under the bus. And Louie, before y'all say Louie's been thrown under the bus, no, Louie's thrown himself under the bus. These videos were not put out by the Gorgas. These videos were put up by his exes. But that's where I see the difference. I was like, no. And I was, oh, we'll get to the end in a second. I don't want to jump around too much. I'm like, I feel like Melissa has been in this family for 20 years. She is full family at this point. She can chime in, especially if she's the one that's the target of a lot of the accusations and the dirt and the toxicity. And honestly, in that moment where Teresa's like, she should stay out of it, you mention her to your brother. So when you mention me in a conversation and I'm right there, I'm going to chime in and defend myself. I'm gonna defend myself. Sarah says, Joe Giudice did not used to chime in. Joe Giudice could barely form sentences. Let's call a thing a thing. He could barely form sentences. So that's why he would just fight. Look. All right. Anyways. So, Teresa tells Melissa, stay out of it. I want to talk to my brother. Talk to my brother for the last time. Talk to my brother for the last time. I feel like we are missing. This is what I always tell you guys. Y'all are very passionate about a situation you know probably 10% about. That's why I'm sort of like, I don't know who. Look, I don't know who is right or wrong here. Based on what we see on the show, this is my opinion. But I feel like there is so much more in regards to what's happening on both sides that I'm just sort of like, Teresa's done. I feel like the Gorgas are done. I don't feel like they're done. Sidebar, did you guys see the new picture of the Gorgas home? You know, they built that new home. Everyone said it looked crazy. And then they started making different changes about it. It looks a lot better. I don't know who they hired. Maybe they hired that guy from TikTok. Because he had really great ideas for them. But it looks a lot better. It looks a lot better. Tria says they're all wrong. Honestly, Tria, I agree. I feel like all of them play a role in the demise of this relationship and this family. I don't feel like anyone's completely innocent. But you know who I feel is even more wrong in this situation? Louie. I feel like Louie came in, and although there was gasoline everywhere. There was gasoline everywhere on this family. Everybody was, and when I say gasoline, I'm talking about sun tanning oil. Okay, everybody's lathered in the sun tanning oil. All right, Louis came in red as a lobster. Came in, and with a match, he just set it on fire. Just saying. Just saying. Too much sun tanning oil. Tell you I need some sunblock. All right. All right. So Louis tells Melissa that she should stay out of it. I also mentioned to you that Danielle chimed in and said, let the brother and sister speak. No, you go speak to your brother. Look, Danielle, you go speak to your brother. Thank you. All right. So they play a montage of the husbands and the moments from the season with the husbands. Okay. Look, okay. I mean, I enjoyed the New Jersey husbands. I like them to a limit. I don't need too much of them. I like them to a limit, and I like the energy that we get around the husbands. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. No matter how you feel about Joe Gorga, when Joe Gorga is not with the husbands, it's a big... I can't imagine, unless they find another Joe Gorga to bring the husbands together, and maybe that's John Fuda. I mean, I haven't seen that from John Fuda just yet, but after this reunion, I don't know if John Fuda's he's a fun guy. I just don't know if he is the same as Joe Gorga. But Joe Gorga is like a performer. Like, it's that Leo energy. All right. Okay, Bridget says, Kemp, they were just talking over each other, just bickering. I don't blame Danielle for saying that. I don't blame her either, but mind your business when you got family stuff over there. Mind your business. You got your own stuff to worry about. Anyways, back to this. So they play the montage of the husband moments over the season. Frank addresses the issues with Dolores and Paulie. Again, Dolores, we love you. Dominican Dolores, we love you. However, I don't know if I believe the issues between you and Frank Catania. I don't think they were that deep. I think a producer were like, this could be your storyline. Like, what's going on with Frank and Paulie? They got over this way too quickly. Not to say that they couldn't get over it in the time that they did. However, y'all saw what we saw in the finale. I was like, this is screaming kind of storyline. All right? But look, do I find it unbelievable that there was some issues with Paulie in this unorthodox relationship that Frank Catania has with Dolores? No, I feel like it's very realistic. I think a lot of people necessarily have to deal with that. But I don't know. I don't know how I felt in that moment. But we did find out that Frank and Brittany, his girlfriend, have closed on a house. He didn't tell Dr. David. Well, I'm sure by now Dr. David knows that he's moving out. He wasn't paying rent at Dr. David, but he probably was fixing stuff around the house. Like I said this before. I said this last week. I said, Frank is probably just living there because Dr. David's never there. So he probably is like making sure that people know that someone's there all the time. And he needed a place to stay. Look, you like it, I love it. I don't care. I don't think there's a big issue with that. All right. But he is going to be moving out and moving in with Brittany. And he says he's open to marrying Brittany. I mean, Brittany doesn't say much. I can see him marrying Brittany. Is Frank Catania, do you think Frank Catania is ready to be married? Do you think Frank Catania is still a womanizer? Do you? I don't know. I mean, we don't get that energy from Frank Catania in these recent seasons. He could maybe outgrew that. I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen any dirt come out on Frank Catania cheating. Oh, maybe that's why he was worried that Louie was investigating him. Maybe they were going to find out something about some other women he got. Allegedly. I don't know. I'm just saying. Once a womanizer, always a womanizer? I'm asking. I don't know. I'm not a womanizer. Okay. So he says he's open to marriage. So Frank and Paulie are in a great place now, y'all. All right, they're in a great place. They also bring up Dr. Bill Aiden being in the pool house. This was another forced storyline. We said this last week because Jennifer was making it seem everything's good now. Everything is perfect. That one therapy session fixed it all. We're good now. Dr. Bill Aiden said, I only go in there for like a half hour to an hour. Most of the time I'm working. That's part of, do I miss things? Yes. But this is a career I've chosen. I don't even care at this point. Jennifer Aiden, you like it? We love it. You put this in our face. We don't even care. I'm just glad they let go of that whole cheating thing. Because I was just like, I'm tired of talking about this. All right? Paulie says that Dolores doesn't want to get married. What do you guys think? You think that Dolores wants to get married? Or because she knows that he's still married, she knows that that's not a possibility yet? But he says that he is working on a divorce now. And he said that he really never took any other woman seriously. That Dolores is like the first woman to meet his children after his wife. I guess that would be Dolores' storyline next season. She's engaged. She's getting married. Honestly, I would watch that. I know. Every other week, I'm like, Dolores, fire her. And I might say it again in this recap when we talk about Frankie Jr. But I kind of want to see Dolores get married. I kind of want to see Dolores be happy. I kind of want to see Dolores be sent on her way after this. Let's get her married. let's get her married and let's send her on her way. She's a lovely woman. Dominican Dolores, you are a lovely woman. But, all right. Like, I'm trying to help you, Dolores, at this point. I'm trying to help you at this point. All right? Let me save this. Hold on, y'all. Guys, keep liking the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. We are talking about the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion. Yes. Where are my pictures of everybody? Oh, Dominican Dolores. That's all right. All right. Let me take a sip. Jasmine says Dolo needs to stay. She's the only one who mingles with all the ladies. Not for long. Not for long. Just saying. All right. Moving along. What else did I want to say in regards to this? Oh, so let's get to it. This is the perfect segue since we were talking about Dolores. So the conversation, because we saw that scene that wasn't seen during the season about Joe Gorga and Frank Catania talking about Frankie Jr. Frankie Jr. is apparently was working. We knew he was working for Louie. The accusation was that Frankie Jr., the company that Frankie was working with that Louie owned, dissolved, or they just stopped. They disappeared. And Frankie had no idea. And Frankie allegedly was reaching out to Louie, and Louie wasn't responding. Frank was mute during the reunion. He had a lot to say in that scene, but Frank was mute during the season, during the reunion. And I think that was out of respect for Dolores. Dolores was like, she's like, Joe Gorga, we have never had a problem. I don't want to start to have one. Because Joe Gorga is like, well, is that the truth? Is that what happened? Because Dolores, when she's asked about this, she says, he has a new job. What happened to the other job? Andy, this was your job. And I do think that Andy did a good job, but I think by this point, Andy was tired. And I don't blame him. He probably couldn't hear anything at this point. But this was your job to ask the follow-up question to Dolores. Delirious. Your job was to ask Dolores the follow-up question and press and be like, well, Dolores, because Frankie Jr., I know he's your child, Dolores. However, he's grown. Let's talk about it. She kept on saying he has a new job. Louie was very gracious with giving him a job, but he has a new job. So did he get a new job after he got let go from this other job? What happened to the other job? Let's talk about it. Even Andy, by the end of it, he's like, well, that leaves a lot more questions. Dolo clearly did not want to talk about it. She said, I don't want to talk about Frankie Jr. in this cesspool. Yet you are swimming in the cesspool. Your son is being brought up, Dolores, because you are in the cesspool. Why am I yelling? So Dolores, look, you barely have a storyline. What happened? I believe that there is some truth that this company, there was some funny business that happened with Frankie Jr. and his job. Fine. If there's no beef between Frankie Jr. and Louie because of it, just say that. There was an issue, but we're good. We're good. They're good. Exactly, Mama Allie, the cesspool is paying you, Dolo. You brought him on the show, Dolo. And Frankie Jr. is not a baby either. And apparently Frankie Jr. and Louie are good. But I think Frankie Jr. is just, let's make peace, not war. He's not one of those people. He's not going to sit there and have beef. So just because y'all see Frankie Jr. with Louie after this all exploded, doesn't mean that what happened didn't happen. Just means that he's like, Frankie Jr. is not about that life. He's not about fighting any of these people. He's not about having beef with any of these people, which we love about Frankie Jr. He's not his father's son. Wait, whatever. You know what I mean. But Dolores, you made all of us go, wait, is there more to this, Dolores? You made it look more like what Joe Gorga was alluding to in that moment then instead of just saying, well, you know, he worked for Louie. We're grateful that he had the job with Louie, but things didn't work out and now he has a different job. You made it more like, wait, is there more to this? She shut it down like it was a crime. Like a crime had occurred and she was a mob wife and she was like, oh, I ain't talking about it. We're not talking about this. And I was just like, wait a minute. For me, she made it worse. For me, she made it worse. Judy on my TikTok says her reaction confirms something happened. Like, oh. Ashley says, I don't understand why Joe was pushing this so much. Well, I think the reason why Joe was pushing it so much was because he wanted to build a case against Louie. Should he have just let it go? I would have let it go. It doesn't really necessarily involve you at all, even though you were in that scene with Frank Catania. But Frank Catania was like, I'm not bringing it up. I'm not bringing it up. Unless it's said, I'm not bringing it up. No, Frank, you said it on camera. And I think because Frank saw that it wasn't featured during the season is why he didn't go into it. Frank, see, this is why I lose respect for you, Frank Catania. If this is what you know to be true, speak your truth. But I get it. He wants to keep peace with his relationship with Dolores, probably to keep his position on the show. But it's okay, Frank. I don't think Dolores will be on the show much longer. All right, let's say thank you for a few super chats, guys. But you can also support the channel by liking and sharing the video. We appreciate you being here for our Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion final recap for season 13. I am so happy about that. Honestly, and hopefully we can go in a completely different direction for next season. Do I believe some of the hate and craziness that I see on social media is all real? Not all of it, but I do feel like some of that is bot generated. Shady Millennial, thank you so much for the super chat. Shady Millennial says, let's be like Kempire, who always gets the vitamin D. That was cute. This is why I don't mind Shady Millennial's shady super chat. First of all, he puts it in a super chat. Or she, or they. I don't know. Thank you so much for the super chat, Sharon. Sharon says, Kempire team Melissa funny. Are you people new? Exactly. Sharon, it's okay. I don't care what people want to say about me because they've said a lot. And look, I've been called worse by better. Just saying. I've been blocked by Anita Baker. Anita Baker. Ariana, thank you so much for the super chat. She says Joe looked beat down in a sad way. Oh, maybe that's why he was so pulled back and not his hothead self usual. He did say at the top of the reunion that he was feeling like the same thing that Teresa said, like his heart was beating fast. CE, thank you so much for the super chat. CE says, but Joe was pulled back throughout the season, even when Louie was talking about wearing Nono's PJs. He was just lost like what? Same as the finale initially. Yeah, Mia, you're right. I think he really was checked out this season in regards to like he wasn't his usual self. Phyllis, thank you so much for the super sticker. We appreciate you supporting the channel as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Julie, thank you so much for the super chat. Julie says, when it's time, why did Frank back down? Because he's afraid of Dolores? Dolores can leave, bored with her and Paulie, and how can she side with Teresa? You said a lot in that super chat, Julie. A lot. DV, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, or they say, they all lying. Tree, Joe, Mel, Lou, and Gia. All for them. Lies! The lies! Oh my goodness. They're all lying. Look, I wouldn't be surprised all of them are bending their truth. Jamaican Barbie, thank you for the super chat. Jamaican Barbie says, at this point, if Tree and Louie break up, she will have no one. And is that the plan? Well, she'll have her daughters. As long as Louie doesn't alienate them from her too. Just saying. Miss Trees, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you supporting the channel. She says, I was so disappointed in Dolores last night. She is giving friend of with her unwillingness to tell the truth. She let herself and the audience down. Damn, do you guys agree with that? I feel like a lot of people are saying the same thing in regards to Dolores. She made us feel in that moment like, okay, obviously there's more to this, Dolores. There's more to this. The Don, why do you have this as your picture? Not Jocelyn's mugshot as your picture, the Don. That is so new. My goodness. Anyways, let me get back to this. Thank you guys so much for the super chats, for Venmos, Cash Apps, PayPals, and for those of you that just share the live or tell your friends and family about what we're doing. We appreciate that. The road to 300,000 subscribers is right around the corner. So subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our content. We don't just talk about Real Housewives or reality TV here. We talk about everything in pop culture. So be sure to check out yesterday's live for our Tuesday takeover, where we cover a mashup of reality TV news, and pop culture news as well. We covered a lot of pop culture news yesterday. All right. Yes, Princess Gabby says that, yes, Dolo is scared of something. She's scared of a lot because I feel like Dolo holds a lot of secrets. A lot of secrets. Oz Fly Girl says that family hurt equals big hurt. No one wants it. Everyone has it to some degree. Some, it's deep and irreparable. Damn. And we know with the Gorgas. Oh, the other question. Can we get into Pizzagate? Yes, we can get to Pizzagate. So we're going to get to Pizzagate next. Because after we do the whole situation with Frankie, we have John Fuda talk about Louie investigating his situation, his family, and he blames Louie for bringing the biological mom of his son Jaden to the blogs and to media. All right, Louie denies it, but John Fuda says, "I know the subcontractors that worked for Bo Dietl." So it leads to a whole conversation about Bo Dietl. And we know Bo Dietl has denied doing any sort of research on the Housewives. Okay, whatever. I don't believe him either. But Louie does say in this moment that Bo Dietl is investigating, because we find out later that they have security there that has been hired by Bo Dietl. I believe that Louie has Bo Dietl. If he hired him, paid him, he says it's one of his best friends. I don't believe you have a friend in this world, Louie, but whatever. Besides Teresa, probably. He hired security. Bo Dietl hired security. He didn't hire the security. Louie didn't hire the security. Hired the security because he's getting death threats. I I don't believe that you and Teresa are getting death threats. I really do not. I do believe the other side is, because the threesomes are ridiculous. Look. So when you said y'all were getting death threats, I was like, really? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because the fandom is ridiculous. However, I would have thought if the other side would be getting it based on what I've seen on social media. But anyways, so they talk about Bo Dietl. And John says that it was Bo Dietl's people subcontracts. He knows for a fact he has a whole manila envelope. That y'all saw that manila envelope? That manila envelope would have put Monique's binder to shame if he released what was in it. If he went into that do I got a manila folder? Damn it, I don't have a manila folder. But if he went into that manila, that sucker was thick. That sucker was thick. That's what she said. He went into that. If he had pulled that, it would have been legendary if he started dropping facts. If he had started dropping facts from the manila folder, John Fuda, you would have won this reunion for me. You would have won this reunion for me. I was just like, what is in the manila folder? Now we need that in the clubhouse, Andy. We need that in the clubhouse. Andy, why didn't you get the manila folder from John Fuda? Okay, Andy was tired by part 3. So I'm going to forgive Andy because I felt like he did a good job throughout the reunion. However, I feel like I would have been like, can I see the folder? I would have been going through that sucker like this. What's this? What's this? What's this? But John Fuda seems pretty convinced that Louie, honestly, Louie, I don't think you're good at hiding your lies. I don't think you're a good liar at all. I don't. But we need him to, John, can someone send this to John? Can you send us what was in the folder? Honestly, I don't want no involvement. We just go on Instagram Live and tell us what was in the folder. Okay? What was in the folder? That sucker was thick. Foxy says Andy needed a nap. He did. Whoa, 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 Andy. Whoa, whoa, Andrew. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, I still have it. That was from last season. Oh my gosh. So there was a lot of information in that folder. And John seemed very convinced. And here's the thing. I said this in my quick TikTok about John Fuda. There's a difference between Louie's not a guy's guy. I don't think he's a people person, period. Okay? Here's the thing. I think he thinks because he has money, allegedly. We don't know if that money's long or if that's just money, fake money. But he thinks because he's paid someone that they have loyalty to him. I don't think Louie knows what loyalty is. Especially in the way that these folks in New York run, especially in the Italian community. No. If you're my boy, if there's loyalty, if I grew up with you, if I do business with you, like he does business, like he does tiles and other business. Like I did your house. No, that's loyalty. Not because you paid me to investigate somebody. No, Fuda, I know Fuda since I grew up. I went to school with Fuda. The loyalty like that, you think because you paid someone that they're loyal to you, Louie. Oh, no. He's going over John Fuda's house for some sauce. Okay? Exactly. Total says that man money. That man's money. I'm just telling you how these folks roll here in New York. So you might think they're loyal to you, Louie, because they may have signed a confidentiality agreement because they don't believe in that over around here. Not especially if they're talking to their family. And when I say family, like friends, like they grew up together. And even if they didn't grow up together, they're tight. I feel like John Fuda has those types of relationships. So you might have more money than maybe John Fuda. I don't know if you have more money than John Fuda. But no, he knows people. Like I looked him in the eye in that moment. I was like, wait a minute, John Fuda. Wait a minute, John Fuda. Wait a minute. I looked him in the eye. I said, oh, he was very convinced. Very convinced. Okay. All right. Let me move this up. Hold on, y'all. So now I'm hot. Look, now I'm hot. All this conversation. All right, let me just save these super chats. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. We appreciate that. Appreciate you. We'll get to them in just a second. I want to make sure I get to some of these things. Exactly. Quinn says you don't need an NDA for loyal friends. Just saying. All right. Anyways, back to this. So John Fuda calls Louie out for that. Louie says that Dietl hired his security because that's when they go to commercial break. Andy brings up production is telling me that there is security downstairs for you guys, and this is where Louie brings up, and I think he's talking about the ex. The ex that filed a restraining order. He's saying that we're getting death threats. Dietl's investigating people that are after me. Why are people after you? Look, why are people after you, Louie? But he's denied throughout this reunion that he hired Dietl to investigate any of these people or to do a smear campaign. At one point, Frank Catania says, Louie, why did you hire Dietl to do a smear campaign on me, Joe Gorga, and Margaret? He says, I did not. I don't believe him, to be honest with you. I don't believe him. But Louie says when questioned about Andy Cohen about Dietl hiring security, he says that Dietl is working on a case for him right now in regards to someone that's harassing his life. He says that both Teresa and Louie accuse Margaret of talking to one of his exes. Honestly, I believe them with that. Margaret, are you trying to build your arsenal? I get it. They're talking to Laura. Maybe you felt like this was your way of getting back at them for talking to Laura. Don't get involved with these people. Like, have some discretion. Have some discretion. You know how many people be in my DMs trying to get me involved in stuff? And I'm just like, no, leave me alone. And I told you guys this before. There is an assertive effort to discredit Louie Ruelas. And I told these folks, you don't have to do anything to discredit him. He can do it himself. He can do it himself. Give up. But that story about with the restraining order, if y'all didn't see that story, it's good. I was like, what? What in the Lifetime movie is going on? Sent someone to pretend to be a patient to get more information on him? Okay. Louie, throughout this reunion, says some weird things. And I'm glad that the camera was picking up his facial expressions and the things that he was saying. He was saying, be careful. He was saying, I know everything. He was saying, just you wait. Wait. Can you imagine the stuff that he says when he's not on camera? The stuff that he was saying under his breath to them? I was just like, whoa. He's very manipulative. Very manipulative. Okay, Pizzagate. Oh my God. I am Paulie. I am Danielle. I am who else was there in that situation? Nate. I was them. When they were talking about Pizzagate, I don't even care about Pizzagate anymore. Because, like I said, I did a full report on Pizzagate. For me, the report that we did, although we don't know if that was true, that made more sense than what they were doing in this moment. Louie explains his side. Joe Gorga jumps in to explain his side. He felt like he was screwed over by Louie. He said they didn't even discuss money. Louie says, I put up, he had a meeting with the nephew, and he wrote within 20 minutes $110,000 check for some pizza ovens. Pizza ovens are sitting in a warehouse with Fabulini. Andy, you failed us, but I get it. You were tired. Andy, your question to Louie and to Joe Gorga should have been this. Why would you guys get into business with each other when your relationship has been on shaky ground for years? Why would you guys, that's to me, we've said this countless times when we talk about Pizzagate. Why would you even get into business with your brother when things have been shaky over the years? I don't care about Pizzagate at this point. We could explore and talk about Pizzagate till we're blue in the face. It doesn't matter. Why would you get into business when your relationship has been shaky? Teresa, why would you get into business with your brother when you say he only talks to you when you're filming? Joe Gorga, why would you get into business with Louie when you barely know him and you already know that you have a shaky relationship with your sister? And getting business involved with anyone that's family, especially even if you're getting along, is not great. So Andy, why didn't you ask that question? Joe Fuda does chime in and talks about, he is a businessman. What do you think should have been happening here? And look, yeah, some sort of written agreement. And Teresa, yes, that's what I said. That's what they should have did. No, the bigger question here is like, why exactly did we get into business with each other when there's sunscreen, well, not sunscreen, sunbathing oil all over us, and there's a match, Louis Ruelas, a match, burning money, ready to set a fire to the whole situation. Why? I feel like I'm yelling. Freddie, thank you so much for the super chat. Freddie says, let's talk about the threats Louie was making. Multiple, like these little things that he was saying. Let's play. I think he really thinks he's in The Godfather. Ariana, thank you so much for another super chat. Ariana says, I pay money to read the thick folder. Why you gotta spell it like that? Ariana. Now I gotta go listen to that song. Okay, Chocolate Soul, thank you so much for the super chat. Chocolate Soul says, Louie and Bo keep saying he wasn't hired. In my opinion, maybe doing these things as a favor to Louie. I'm just saying. I agree. And not necessarily as a favor. Because he's working on another case for Louie, he's probably like, I'll do a little extra for you. You're paying me for this other case. I'll do a little extra for you. Maybe. Mahala, thank you so much for the super chat. Mahala says these reunions raise Andy's blood pressure. Oh, look, I kind of do feel for Andy. I do feel for Andy. I do feel for him in this because honestly, as I was watching it last night, and I'm like taking notes and I'm trying to make the thumbnail for you guys for this live, I'm listening to this and I'm just like, I'm getting frustrated. So but I'm not their boss. Andy, I get it. And I told you what I need you to do. You need to take a break. You need to start giving things to other people to do. All right? Because I feel like it is catching up with you. But I also understand why you were so frustrated with these people. The constant talking over each other. Look, and the way that they talk over it, it's different. It's different. Thank you, Mahala, for the super chat. Kay, thank you so much for the super chat. Kay says, Pizzagate, Joe and Teresa for Nono, Louie took it. I'm so over Pizzagate. Let us never talk about it again. Tina, thank you for the super chat. Tina says, Tree's been a bully since the Marge hair pulling. Ooh. Excuse me. Thank you, Tina. Carla, thank you for the super chat. Carla says, I want to point out how gangsta was Fuda in regards to Louie. Oh, keep that same energy. I lost respect for Frank Catania in that moment, but I gained a new respect for John Fuda. Thank you for the super chat. Terry, we appreciate you supporting the channel. Julie, thank you for the super chat. Julie says, missed parts of live, but have a great day, everyone. We'll catch a replay. If I missed, do you think Tree and Melissa will come back? Louie, please stop. I do think that Melissa will be returning. I do believe that Teresa will be returning. I think Teresa's just going to have to deal. I think she swore, she showed her hand too soon. CE, thank you for the super chat. CE says, but Joe's story matched what he said on the show. Okay. Tree then jumped on him yelling so Joe doesn't give the full details of how shady Louie is and that Teresa's go-to. I knew that was the move boyfriend before she started. The other thing in regards to Pizzagate, that stood out to me. Joe says that he was reaching out to Louie for like 3 to 4 weeks. And Louis like, I'm a busy guy, you know. Like, do you get back to everybody immediately? He's like, look, did I not call you back in a day or 2 days or a week? He's like 3 weeks to a month. You're not calling back your brother-in-law after 3 weeks. 3 weeks to a month, your brother-in-law, or at the time, your future brother-in-law. You're not getting back to him. It does seem like you are avoiding him at this point. Like, I can understand a day, a week even, but 3 weeks to a month. 3 weeks to a month. This also leads to the whole conversation about Dave, Dina's husband. And basically, look, we don't know, and we probably will never know what really happened with Dave, Dina, and Teresa and Louie. It's very obvious. Andy pointed it out, I think in part 1 or part 2, that they were hanging out with each other for a long time, and then all of a sudden it stopped. I do think that Dina will never really get into it or throw Teresa under the bus, but Louis says that Dave was going to sue Joe Gorga, and he's like, sue me? Where's the lawsuit? Maybe he threatened to sue you, Joe? Look, I'm playing devil's advocate. Maybe. I don't know. Look, I don't know. This is when Joe accuses Louis of being a woman abuser. Because of what we've heard and seen in court documents and things. Look. And now I'm seeing all other accusations about Joe Gorga. Now it's getting nasty and it's getting ugly. And Teresa gets upset when Joe brings up the videos. Teresa, why did you get so upset about Joe Gorga bringing up the videos? The videos have been online for forever at this point. If he brings it up, it's already been discussed. It's already been out there. We've already seen it. Why would you get so upset about it? And then she points out, you have a past too. You all have a past. You all have a past. Why didn't they talk? Well, I guess it's the reunion's not about Joe Gorga. Because I was like, why didn't they talk about Joe? Remember when Joe was on camera not attacking. Well, I guess you could say attacking his tenant for rent. Like, you haven't paid your rent, blah, 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 blah. But then I was like, there really is no relevance to the season. But that would have been a good storyline for the Gorgas. Trying to collect that rent. Then we could have talked about it at the reunion. But we already know Joe Gorga has anger management, which is part of the reason why we're looking at him. You're very calm this reunion. Very calm. Michi's point of view, thank you for the super chat. She says, a man that owns lipo is an honest man. I believe John Fuda, right? He didn't even quiver. You saw how Louis was trying to backtrack on, once or twice about the Botox. Louis, you got Botox in your face right now. There's nothing wrong with that. But he's a liar, so look.
Lies! The lie!
I agree, Michi. If John Fuda can own lipo, good for him. Mr. Mellon, I love this picture of Ashley Darby's mom when she's coming under the arms. Love this picture. The Goudas are annoying. Ozempic March is too, and everyone in this cast are liars. It took me out though when Mel was like, go with the when Mel was like, go with the flow. Like, girl, you and Tree went in. Also, Tree is done with the Gorgas. Yeah, she's definitely done with the Gorgas. I have to say, I felt like Melissa showed up in part 2. Melissa in part 3, I think she was trying to show up, but she didn't show up as much as she did in part 2. And maybe because the husbands were out there. So maybe that was it. Sharon, thank you for the super chat. Sharon says the whole cast will return. Filming will start in August. They are on break per Andy Cohen. Okay, Sharon, I did see that they did, per what you said yesterday, they did remove that edit of RHOA, of the Nene edit. So, just saying. All right, guys, if you're just joining us, don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. We're talking about the final part of the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion. If you're a member of the channel, I will be dropping the call and link for you first on the community tab here on YouTube. To become a member of the channel, head on over to TheKempire.com/join. And don't forget, this month only, our Pride merch is now available through a new distributor, so it's different quality. So for those of you that have gotten something last year and you're like, oh, I already got something last year. No. Go check out our new merch, new quality merch, and new stuff are coming all the time there. Houseofkempire.com, or head on over to TheKempire.com and click the shop button. All right. Let me just say thank you. Miss R and Diva, thank you for the super chat. It says, Kempire, I'm sorry about what Louie and Teresa are making a bad name for all your tourists. Right? Why you gotta remind me? Why you gotta remind me? To make for your tourist gang, I really hope Bravo put them on ice next season. Teresa is a bully, and Louie is not a perfect match for Teresa or the men. Why you have to remind me? Thank you for the super chat. I can't believe they're Tauruses. They are giving us a bad name, and I'd say it's because they're April Tauruses, but no, that's just Louie. All right, moving on, guys. Okay. Andy brings up Jacqueline Loretta because Andy brings up the whole fact that now Teresa is blaming the Gorgas. Teresa's sort of backtracking on blaming the Gorgas. Now she's saying, well, you associated, you were friendly with, you went out with the person that turned me in. It went from blaming them, because she literally blamed them last week, to you went out with them. And she says that Jacqueline Loretta is her source. And then Andy, they literally play all the moments that Teresa has blasted Jacqueline Loretta on the show. And Andy literally says that, hold on, what did Andy say? Did I write it down? Oh, he says that Teresa standing for Jacqueline Loretta is the biggest joke of the century. Damn. I'm tired of talking about the same thing. I feel like in part 1 and part 2 of our recaps, we've said the same thing in regards to Teresa and her Fed case. She's refused to take accountability for her part or her family's part in that whole situation. She continuously has blamed this person, that person. It was Caroline Manzo at one point. It was this person, it was that person. Now it's the Gorgas. Look, there's a lot we can say about the Gorgas, and we do. However, when it comes to the situation, I said this last week, I said it the previous week, Teresa, you didn't have to go to jail. The judge was going to give you parole. I got to remind, because we get new people every week. You were going to only get parole. But because you and your husband were still giving misinformation and not providing all of the information, you were not being transparent to the court, is the reason why the judge decided to teach you specifically a lesson and send you to jail, to prison. You keep changing this situation. You keep blaming everyone for why you went to jail. They were hanging out with the person. Frank Catania releases, client privilege because he was Joe Gorgan's attorney. And he says, yeah, the feds did reach out to us. However, Joe Gorgan never told on Joe Giudice. Joe Gorga says, yeah, my relationship with Joe Giudice has been complicated. However, if he goes to jail, that affects you. And I wouldn't want that to happen to you. And for me, that made sense. But even if he didn't say any of that, based off of the constant changing of who did what to Teresa and the reason why she went to prison, it's gotten tired. Just own it. No one ever really blamed Teresa, but at this point, we are blaming you because you have taken no accountability. And Joe Giudice telling people that yeah, he believes that they turned him into. Sir, may you stay in the Bahamas. Because you show no accountability or remorse for your crimes. And Dolo from last week. Do I think it's terrible that possibly a brother could... Dolo, be quiet. Be quiet, Dolo. Be as quiet as you were about Frankie Jr. and this job situation. Be quiet, Dolo. All right. We still have a lot more to talk about. How long have I been talking? An hour and 10 minutes. Lord have mercy. It's just so much to unpack. I took so many notes. I kept on rewinding. I was like, what did he say? Let me look at Louie's facial expression. That's what I kept on doing. All right. Back to this. So then they move into, oh goodness, the food on the table comments. I will say this about the food on the table comments, and shout out to, what was it, Mackenzie 805. How did I remember that? How did I remember the Twitter name? Shout out to Mackenzie 805. Because Mackenzie wanted to point out the whole food on the table comment. They pointed out that, why are you so upset? Oh, damn, GF, I'm sorry, GF. GF says, Kempire, we don't want him in the Bahamas, period. Well, look, I'm sorry. Go tell your local legislators people, stop letting people just in. Okay? Stop letting people in. Carmela says, Dolo has the gold medal in fence sitting. Y'all are hilarious. I need to go rewatch this live to just look at everyone's comments in the live chat. Anyways, where was I? I forgot what I was. Oh, the food on the table comment. And Mackenzie 805 was like, well, Joe Giudice needed someone to film with. I should have sent in a comment too. And I said this countless times. Not only did Joe Giudice needed someone to film with, he needed someone to actually have full sentences with. That we could actually have a show. I mean, I get where Melissa's coming from, but I also get, here I go twerking on the fence. But I get where people might be like, oh my God. It's a harsh statement, but is it a true statement? That show would not be able to happen without someone to be able to have dialogue. I can barely remember the show. Melissa did point out, like, you guys made money off the show. You made more than we did from being on the show. She said that we literally only were able to go visit you because we were going to do the show and you put our names on the list. This is her accusation. I don't know if it's true. But with the whole putting food on the table, I told y'all, look, nobody's going to watch Joe Giudice grunt through an hour show. Drink a little vino. I'm just saying. Point, period. All right. So they bring up the whole rumors about Melissa. And Louie's asked, why didn't you, when you called Joe Gorga and to tell him about this and invite him over, why didn't you invite Melissa? Louie's like, oh, well, when I look back on it, it was an oversight. It was an oversight. No, you knew what you were doing. Louie claims that he wanted to tell Joe this information so Joe can get ahead of it. Joe claims that hold on, let me just save the super chat. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to keep up with your super chats, guys. We'll get to the super chats at the in between. All right. So back in regards to this. So Joe alleges that Louie said that it was multiple guys that Melissa had cheated with. And even mentioned a name. So this leads to the conversation about Gia and what Gia did. So Gia claims that she called to encourage her uncle to come to the wedding. According to Joe says, Gia said, and I really don't, look, you could say what you want about Joe. I don't think that Joe would lie on his niece. Would he lie on his sister? Maybe. Would he lie on his niece? I don't think that he would lie on Gia. How many of you think that Gia was lying? Yes or no? Because Gia says, I never said that you could do better than Melissa. I mean, the Gia just own it if you said it. I don't think anybody would be mad if you said that. Is it disrespectful? Yeah. But you've been disrespectful. So just ride that train. Keep that same energy. You've been disrespectful. So homegirls at Coachella, for the love of Danielle, they call her and she's like, I never said that. And the fact that Joe is accusing me of lying is disgusting. I don't remember what she said. And this causes Teresa, because Joe's like, she said it. She said it. And Melissa already told Joe, don't argue with her. Just let her say it. Don't argue with her. Just let her say it. Which I think was a smart move. I think it was a smart move. Because what are you going to, it's just going to be he said, she said. But based on what you guys are saying in the chat, it looks like you guys think that Gia was lying. Damn. Look. And you know why I think Gia was lying? You saw when Teresa gets really upset, she's just like, I just can't. And she watches it, she turns around to the camera and don't follow me. So a lot of us thought maybe she meant the cameras. No, she meant her brother. She really thought her brother Joe was gonna go follow her, because you remember Andy forced her to go follow Joe last season and to go have a conversation. And she was like, and don't follow me. Joe was like this. Are we done? Are we done? So Backstage was quite telling. I don't care about any of the other things that Teresa was saying backstage. What stood out to me in that moment is exactly what we've been saying about Louie Ruelas. He is pulling the strings. He is controlling the situation when it comes to Teresa. Because Teresa is saying that, no, Gia's saying it didn't happen. She never said that. He now is trying to find a way to, based on when she was talking to me, she said, oh, maybe she meant this. What did she say? I wrote something maybe she meant you could do, oh my goodness, I can't remember what the exact term. You could do better for mom. You could do better for mom. Maybe that was what maybe he's misinterpreting. He already came up with a lie backstage. Louie came up with a lie backstage, y'all. Again, could Joe Gorga be lying? Yeah. Do I think that he would lie on Gia? I don't think so, y'all. I don't know, but I don't think so. Not on Gia. Like I said, maybe on his sister, but on Gia. Teresa was very hurt by it. She was like, "You're saying that she lied." Louie came up with a lie. All right. She says, don't come follow me. No one followed her. Andy ends up going to go have a conversation with her to bring her back out. All right. All right. Look, I just want to make sure there's nothing that I've missed so far, but you guys will have a chance to call in and share your thoughts. Matter of fact, I'm going to drop the call-in link for our members first. All right. Hold on. Let me just do that right now before I forget. Members, head on over to the community tab. Live chat, keep liking the video. We're almost at 1,000 likes. Let's get to 1,000 likes. All right. I will drop the call in link for the general audience in a few, but we need to get those likes up. But members of the channel, I'm going to drop the call in link for you first. Senior Royals, shout out to you guys. I'm going to drop the call in link for you. All right. Do that. Senior Royals, I dropped the call-in link for you. Royal Court members, I'm going to drop the call-in link for you in a second. I'm going to move on to what else plays out. So backstage, Louie comes up with this new version of what maybe Gia said to Joe Gorga that made him think something else. Okay? All right. Joe, because the husbands are about to leave the stage. So Joe says, because Andy wants to see if they can come to some sort of peace. I think really feel like Andy was trying to maybe, because he wants to see them all come back. All right? Because he wants Teresa to come back, and I think he wants Melissa to come back. All right? So he's like, you know, is there anything that you want to say? Joe actually was really sweet in this moment, honestly. Joe was like, you know, God forbid anything was to happen to my sister, I would be there for her. I would never say never in regards to us having a future. All right. But Teresa's like, I'm done. That's where I really want to get to. Like, I really want to get to why exactly is Teresa so done? I mean, look, we see what's transpired. I just really want, because like I said, we know probably 5% of the story that is the Gorgas, the Judices, and now Louie Ruelas. I really want to get to the understanding of like, what was it for Teresa to be done? Is it because she has this new family and a new man? Maybe. Or is it some of the things that she's found out and that Joe Gorga has done? But he's done these things for years. Like, what changed it? All right. So the husband, so Joe says that never say never. Never say never. Then Teresa's like, no, she's done. Frank and Tanya does, as the husbands are leaving, he wants to make peace with Louie, which I'm all about peace. I'm not someone that likes animosity and things like that. It just felt like in that moment that Frank and Tanya, I don't know if Frank and Tanya has something to hide, and maybe Louie was hot on his tail with Bo Dietl Dum and Dietl D. But it just seems sort of like, wait a minute. So they shake hands. Louie and Joe Gorga even shake hands. I think Joe Gorga's just sort of like, yeah, whatever. I see you for who you really are. He's just ready to move on. I think everybody's ready to move on, including us. So Louie goes over. Louie goes over to Rachel Fuda. They're better than me because John Fuda is me, because when he went to Rachel was very sweet and cordial to him. She was just like, he was like, I think what you're doing with your son Jaden is amazing. And she's like, thank you very much. John Fuda was like, you ain't gonna play me. John Fuda was like, I need you to admit that you did what you did. And he's like, I didn't investigate anybody. I didn't investigate anybody. I know I mentioned Bo Dietl twice in season 13, but I didn't investigate anybody. It wasn't me. John Fuda was like, I need you to admit because I know you did it. And I don't blame him. When we talk about BDE, John Fuda. When we talk about keep that same energy, John Fuda. Where was Margaret's husband? Rachel, you got yourself a good one. And I appreciate John Fuda, but like, nope. God only knows what John Fuda knows. You saw how big that envelope was. You saw how big that manila envelope was. God only knows what he knows. I appreciated that moment. I appreciated that they kept that in. He was like, I'm not doing that. Joe had to come over because I think that was going to get hot and heated really quickly. Because God only knows what John Fuda knows. Because he was very sure. He was very sure about the information that he has. I guess we're going to see how this plays out next season. Because now there's a rift with the men. We haven't seen a rift with the men before. Not till Louie was in the building, in the facilities. But Joe Gorga's like, guys, let's get a shot. See why Joe Gorga is necessary for the men? He wants to bring them all together to have a shot. So they're backstage, and Joe feels like nothing really was resolved by this reunion. And do you guys agree with that? You don't feel like anything was resolved by the end of this reunion, but look, we are not miracle workers. Look, we're not miracle workers. All right? It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. We're not miracle workers. Not Rome wasn't built in a day. All right? Vanessa's life says, Louie is such a liar. I'm so over him. Teresa, be careful. And I'm over warning Teresa. Teresa's a grown woman. Teresa's a grown woman at this point. To Dolores, so at the end of this reunion, Andy asks all the ladies, gets an update on where they're at. Dolores says that she feels as if it's probably best that Teresa and Joe go their separate ways because of the toxicity. Jennifer and Margaret seem to make somewhat peace. You may have heard the rumor that they made peace. It didn't really look like they made much peace by the end of it, right? Just saying. But I think you have to also remember that this is a show, and these housewives also know that they have to get along in order to return. And so the peace that's made between Rachel, Fuda, and Danielle, I feel like Rachel understands that, because Rachel had a whole diatribe about, I feel like I like you. I think you're a great mother. I think we got along well. And Danielle, y'all saw Danielle's face. She's like, yeah. Yeah. Like, I wasn't convinced. Like she was over whatever issues she had with Rachel. So Andy points out, and I said this at the top of this recap, Andy points out that it was interesting and refreshing to see Melissa and Teresa really be honest about how they feel about each other, but still coexist on this show. I thought that was important, what he was saying, because I feel like he was sort of like foreshadowing, can you guys do this for another season? But you already see what Teresa has said multiple times throughout this reunion. She's done. I'll be so glad that I won't have to see your face after today. And she's like, well, why? Where are you going? No, you're leaving. And Andy Cohen said last week, let me know how that works out for you. Let me know how that works out for you. So Teresa pretty much says that, I was trying to keep the peace for the family. I was trying to keep the peace because I was getting married. And then I was really surprised when Melissa spoke. Melissa says that she loves Teresa. No matter what you think, how I feel about you, I love you. And I want to see that you're okay. And anyone else go, love? I was surprised by that, but then I had to think about it. And I said this before. I said this at the top of this recap. These people have known each other for 20 years. And I know they may have not loved each other over the years or liked each other over the years. They have nieces and nephews and children that are close. And they've shared holidays together. They've gone through some of the darkest times in Teresa's life. And other times, like the loss of Joe and Teresa's parents. So then I thought to myself, I was like, well, maybe there is some love there. Because honestly, in that moment, Melissa didn't have to say that. She could have just said something else. But to say that she loved Teresa, I was like, oh. This is true. Tyra says you can love someone and not like them. I mean, I've never experienced that, but but it's true. It's true. There's probably plenty of family that you love, but you don't like them as people. Oh, Jasmine says, Melissa, girl, bye. They don't like each other. Ashley says, I'm sorry, it felt performative. Look, I told you I went like this. Love, I was thrown. I was like, really? Virgo Energy says, yes, you can love someone but not like them. I believe Melissa does love Teresa. Replay crew, live chat. Do you believe that? Look, do you believe it? I mean, I'm still on the fence about that. But like some of you have said, you can love someone and not necessarily like them. All right. Replay crew. I'm not replay crew. Royal Court members, I'm dropping the call-in link next for you. Team Kempire members, I'm going to drop the call-in link for you in just a second. If you would like to become a member of the channel, head on over to teamkempire.com/join. Shout out to all of our members that have been members for a month, a week, a day, or for 2 years. Some of you have been members for a very, very, very long time. Content creators like myself and entrepreneurs like myself rely on your support. But you don't have to become a member to support. You can like the video. You can share the video. You can tell your friends and family about what we are doing on multiple platforms. Here on TikTok, here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and on Instagram. For all of our socials, head on over to TheKempire.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, Kempire Radio, where I am talking about topics that I don't talk about anywhere else, or I expand in ways that I can. There. All right. Be sure to give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. More details available at KempireRadio.com. All right. Team Kempire members, I'm going to drop the call link next for you. All right. Live chat, I will drop the call and link for you guys. How many likes are we at? We need to get to... Oh.
I know you're under a lot of pressure.
Oh, not Dr. Dre playing. Why is Dr. Dre playing? That was random. All right. Anyways, so let's get to some callers. Guys, let me switch this out. Oh, I don't have it on here. Let me move this over here. There we go. All right. TikTok, keep tapping your screens. Let's get to 25,000 likes there. Janine says, someone call Iyanla Van Zant. Let me also get to the super chats that we had backstage as well. CE, thank you so much for the super chat. CE says, did you catch when Tree told Mel that Joe is my blood and not your blood? So I want to talk to my bro. I was like, what? That is so creepy because Mel is married to your bro for decades. Tree needs help. All right. Let me just save this. Some of you are funny in the chat. Capricorn, thank you so much for the super sticker. We appreciate you supporting the channel as well. All right. Monica, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you supporting the channel. Thank you. High Vibe, thank you so much for the super chat. High Vibe says, I lost all respect for Dolores. What mother protects the person who wronged their child? Ooh. Is she afraid of Louie and Teresa? Are there skeletons? That's what I got from Dolores' response. I was like, wait, what do they have on you, Dolores? Not to say that she has to even go up against Louie. I just felt like she could have handled that situation a little bit better. For me, she made it worse. She made us believe that there was something. But I think there might be something going on. Okay. CCB, thank you for the super chat. CCB says, Gia is so damn manipulative. I knew she was lying when she said Aunt Melissa. CE, thank you for another super chat. CE says, but Louie lied and said he didn't say multiple men. But a few seconds later when Joe and Melissa brought up and mentioned they even said a name, Tree and Louie, who forgot they already lied, said, yes, different rumor. Glad Joe called him out on it immediately. I forgot about that. You're right. All right, CE, thank you for another super chat. CE says, what's sad is that Tree is so damn dense to get it. She would have gained a sister in Melissa who has always had her back, but all Joe or Melissa get is Tree's you know what to kiss anytime she doesn't need them. Damn. Melissa, is that you? No, I'm playing CE. I'm playing. Aria, thank you so much for the super chat. Aria says, I've been a member for 1 hour, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you, Ariana. Speaking of Ariana, we're not going to be talking about Vanderpump Rules. We're not going to be talking about it. Nope, I'm not talking about that Secrets Revealed unless something really juicy comes out of it. Other than that, and y'all will tweet me. Y'all will let me know, oh, Kempire, you got to recap it. But other than that, nope. Not talking about Vanderpump Rules until the new season. All right, everyone will get a minute because we've been live for, oh my gosh, an hour and a half, and I've been talking this entire time. So everyone, including members, will get a minute to share their thoughts, their short and shady thoughts on The Real Housewives of New Jersey Season 13 Reunion Part 3. But live chat, replay crew in the comment section, you can share all the thoughts that you want. But don't forget, we do not moderate adults, and we do not condone bullying of any kind. Let people share their opinions as long as they're sharing it in a positive and clear way. Let them share their opinions. We don't need you attacking anyone in our comment section, because if you are caught out there attacking anyone in the comment section, you will be blocked. And it takes a lot to be blocked from the channel. So, all right. Okay. Hey, Ashley. Ashley says, good morning, my cure for my insomnia. Ashley, where are you? Where is it morning? Are you in Korea? Is that where you are? I can't remember. I haven't seen that picture in a long time. All right, let's get to some callers. So we can get out of here, enjoy the rest of our Wednesday, and just be done with the Gorgas and the Judices, the Catanias, the Fudas. No, we're not done with the Fudas. Shout out to the Fudas. Just saying. Guys, keep liking the video if you haven't already. We are talking about the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion. Where are my New Jersey reunion? Oh, here they are. I was like, where are my pictures? Like, I had all my pictures, and like, this reunion was a mess. But it was. Did anyone find out who got those portraits? Look at those portraits in the back. Who got the portraits? That's what I want to know. Did they get to be able to keep their portraits? And you're right. Some of the other portraits were really good. I wish they would have zoomed in more on the portraits. I want to see the portraits. I'm going to get a portrait and put one right here. All right, let me get to these callers. Okay, if you're a member of the channel, I have dropped the call-in link for members only on our community tab. And we already have a full Backstage. So if you're a member and you weren't able to get Backstage, just try to call in. Members that, once you've shared your opinions, drop out so other people can call in. All right, I'm going to bring up Obi first. Obi, thank you for being a member. What's going on?
What's up? Wow, I'm the first person.
Yeah,
I
member.
wasn't even ready.
Pays to be
Okay, so this is your resident tree stump calling in from Texas. And I was just gonna say it takes hundreds of thousands of dollars to hire a private investigator. And who is the most likely person on the cast to afford that kind of money prior to Louis's arrival? That would be your richest housewife on the cast, Margaret Joseph. At this point, can you deny that she has an arsenal of information? Because that's how we knew about Ivan and Melissa, Bill cheating, Polly still being married, and everything we heard about Louis last season. Can you say for a fact that Marge did not build her arsenal by hiring private investigators? If your answer is no, then why is that okay, but everyone wants to throw in their 2 cents about Louis doing the same thing? He's only bound by strict confidentiality agreements that prohibit him from disclosing. It's clear that the couch on the opposite side are stressed because they met their match. If those police reports are real, why is Louis not under arrest? The online smear campaign accusations, I think, is a bit bogus and is a witch hunt. Notice how some of those people needed their huge envelopes of non-evidence, but Louis only required his words to make them back down. Paying bloggers millions of dollars in fines, and the list goes on. That's it. Bye.
Bye, Obi. Perfect timing, too. Excuse me, y'all. All right. Let us bring up Sharon next. Hold on. What's going on, Sharon? Again, guys, once you've shared your thoughts, please drop out so that other people can call in because the Backstage is full. What's going on, Sharon?
Hey, how you doing, Kempire?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. On the John Fuda thing where he thinks that Lewis looked up his wife's information in the Department of Corrections, anybody can do it. I can do it. I used to do it all the time because I used to work for the Department of Corrections.
Okay.
Just saying. And also, with Marge and Jennifer making up, they didn't make up. Jennifer was just tired because her neck was hurting, and it was cold in the studio, and she was ready to go.
Weren't we all?
Yeah, I'm glad it's over. That's all I had.
Thank you, Sharon, for calling in.
Bye bye.
Bye. Okay, Sharon's hilarious. All right, we're gonna bring up Brooklyn Star next. Hold on. What's going on, Brooklyn Star?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. I'm going to cite my source. Your moms are watching on IG spilled the tea. She ratted out the PR firm that Louie and Teresa were using to do the smear campaign. And that's how Margaret got the information to file a police report and take it to HR at Bravo to make them stop. So before it disappears from her story, she has all the evidence that it was used to give to Margaret. And that's how all of them got the ball rolling to find out how Louis did it. And also, I like John Fuda. I really like him a lot. Everybody on Teresa's team was lying. Gia is just not a nice little girl, okay? Like since she's been little. So I don't believe a word she says. And I think that I was gagged. Frank was Joe's lawyer.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Think no.
Yeah,
and it
good
gagged
guy.
me so hard and it made me look at Dolores and him in a different light when it comes to Frankie Jr. They're protecting their son. Louis is doing something I feel the spirit of Shaw on it, okay? And I feel like they're protecting their son to make it seem like he's not more involved in the business. I think they're protecting their son. I don't think it's, they're hiding for Teresa. I think they're protecting
Good point.
their son. That's what I think it is. He's smarter. Now I look at him in a different light. I didn't know. I was like, wow. Yeah. Okay. All right, bye.
Look, the stories and the history amongst this group of people is deep. But you're right, Brooklyn Star. I didn't think about that. I think she's trying to protect it because remember, she has she used to be in the police department, Dolores. And God only knows what she knows over there in Jersey. So that's probably what she's like, no, he's got a new job. Thank you, Louie, for what you did. Yeah, he don't work there no more. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. This is why I love when people call in. All right, let me stop talking. All right, Princess Gabby, I'm going to bring you up. What's going on, Princess Gabby?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
I'm good. I'm losing my voice. Okay, quick.
Me too.
Love John Fuda. Love him. Takes no ish. Dolores let me down because she didn't want the truth to come out, but what your previous caller said, I totally get it, and that makes more sense than her exposing him. However, I think Dolores is blindly a friend of Teresa because if you ever watch the after the shows on the Bravo, she has this blank look on her face like, I'm just sitting here, I'm just letting this girl lie. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to let her tell her stories and I'm just going to sit here. I don't believe anybody made up. I do believe that Louis picked the right one with Teresa. She's like Pinocchio. He's pulling the strings and she's just going along with it. And it's scary to watch because I fear for her because she has 4 daughters. And I fear that she's going to get in trouble again and have to go, air quote, go away. But that's it. All right. Love you.
Thanks, Princess Gabby. A lot of you keep saying that. Like, I hope that doesn't happen, but damn. All right. We're going to bring up Joe next. What's going on, Joe?
I'm as peaceful as Teresa is today. Okay. So, it makes me question. I know that Melissa and Teresa have been in a tumultuous relationship. I wonder if this is a lesson learned when someone's dating each other, making sure that the majority of the family are actually okay with the person you're dating, because it seems like Teresa never liked Melissa even when they started out, and it's kind of sad to see that all fall out at the end of this reunion. I know that there was also a conversation around Louis agreeing with everybody else to stop the investigation. Like, he probably doesn't need to stop it because he's already got all the information on them. Like, the investigation is probably already over.
Yeah, he got his folder.
Yeah, I mean, Gia definitely lied. And I don't really understand why people are worried about Teresa. Like, she's been warned a lot of times before they got married, and to go for it. So it's on her.
You're right. She's grown. Thank you, Joe, for calling in.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, we're gonna bring up Kendall next. What's going on, Kendall?
Hi, how
Hey,
are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing great. Several things. Please don't call her Trey. That means there's three of them and we don't need two more. Second, your moms are watching was very descriptive last night in another talk. She said that Teresa was on the phone back in hairdressing and had Gia on speakerphone, so Gia was not broadsided when they called her and asked her. So Gia lied. Next is Pizzagate. It was a deal between Joe Gorga and Teresa to honor Nona, and Louie stole it. And then, let's see, there was, Frankie Jr. went to work for Louie, the place where he was working at. He was supposed to be making $30,000 a month, and Louie didn't pay the rent for 4 months. Kid went to work. They locked him out. Louie went and returned the phone call, and so now they don't want him associated with Louie. They just wanted to let it go so it doesn't affect his future working life.
Wow.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You
Love
too,
you.
Kendall.
Bye.
Bye. Wow, she came with the tea. We appreciate you guys because I can't watch it and watch and see everything, especially in the sometimes I'm out in the streets. Anyways, Wendy, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
It's like this. I'm gonna say it like this. Teresa, Louie, they're trash. Melissa and Joe, they're trash. All of it is just trash. and I just think that this is all made up. I'm just thinking that this is all an act. And like I said last week, next season is gonna be come to Jesus moment where everybody is making up and they're good again. That's how I feel. I'm so over this, and I'm glad it's over. So enjoy your dinner, lunch, what you're doing, and I love you.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
bye.
much, Wendy. Take care. All right. All right. Rasani's backstage. We're going to bring her up next. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 13, final part of their three-part reunion. If you're part of our replay crew or later on crew, be sure to let us know how you'd rate this reunion overall and how you'd rate part 3 of this reunion and what you thought of all that came out in part 3 as well. I can see that a lot of you rated this reunion quite well. Hold on, let me go to see what Rasani. I'll get to you in this 1 second. You rated it between 7 and 10, 61% of you. 31% of you rated between 4 and 6. I feel like part 2 was far better than part 3, but I think overall the reunion was better than the entire season. All right, let's bring up Rasani. What's going on? Rasani? I hear
Hey,
myself.
Kempire, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
How are you? Good. Okay, just a few to what Brooklyn Star says. If that is true, yes, I can understand. However, if that's not true, I think Frank backed down because of Dolores. And if Dolores is backing down because of Teresa, then I think Dolores, you're trash. Because I'm serious, because if anyone comes after Teresa's kids, including Dolores, Teresa's gonna go at you ham. So don't defend other people or your relation for your kid. That's your kid. Um, Fuda, I respect you. You know, you're not gonna make nice you came after my kid. I'm not gonna make nice with you. Admit it, apologize, and we'll move on. I think Joe was relaxed and calm because he's like over it and everything is gonna play out and show how it's gonna show, which it did. Teresa, if it doesn't work out with Louie, which it doesn't look that way, I can't feel bad for you because you've been down that road with Judice and you're still continuing it with Louie. You should have gotten some therapy and love yourself before you brought anybody else into your bubble. And just have one quick question for you. Out of all of the Housewife franchises, I think why Jersey does so well is because we're actually getting like personal stories from them. Do you feel that way? I'm asking you in the chat. I'm just curious.
Okay, I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna mute you, Rasani, because we're getting a little feedback. But I'll answer it and drop you down. But thank you for calling in. All right. I feel like people feel connected to New Jersey because of the history with New Jersey, specifically with Teresa, Melissa, Joe, and all of them, and because the husbands have become such a big part of the show as well. I feel like a lot of that has helped people stay engaged, and I think they do have a sort of like cult following, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean like there are people that really just continue to watch because they've been watching since the beginning. But you guys let me know what you think in the chat. All right, let's bring up Miss Esquire next. What's going on, Miss Esquire? Miss Esquire, I can't hear you. Uh-oh. Miss Esquire, do me a favor, drop out and call back in, and we'll bring you up. I'm going to bring up next Patricia. What's going on, Patricia?
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Team Fuda, all the way. Dr. Phil, where you at? Dolo is hiding Tree Lou's secrets, and mysteriously 2 cars being stolen from driveways or whatever. Very suspect. And also, since I've commented on this situation, this show, I've been getting nothing but crap spam emails, crap spam in my social, and even crap text. So they better slow their roll because everything is tracked. And that's what I gotta say. Yeah, they gotta revamp everything. They gotta revamp everything on this cast. Yeah, no good. No bueno, no malo bueno. No good. No good.
Patricia, thank you for
Bye.
calling
Thank
in.
you.
Take care. Bye. Patricia's funny. All right. Live chat, I am going to drop the call in link for you guys. Hold on. How many we got people got in here? Guys, let's keep liking the video. I'm gonna drop the call link after I talk about these super chats that we received. Tiana, thank you so much for the super chat and for always supporting the channel. Tiana says, I don't understand why everyone wants Mel to stay out of the drama when Teresa has continuously taken shots at Mel. That part. I respect Mel saying, since you disowned your brother, this is my husband. Oh, I mean, I agree. I feel like if Melissa was not constantly brought up and been the target of Teresa's attacks, then I could understand her staying out. But also, Melissa's been married to this man for 20 years. She can chime in. All you other people are Johnny-come-latelys. CE, thank you so much for another super chat. CE says, Andy begged Tree to get a prenup on Watch What Happens Live and nothing. Look, good for her. Look, at this point. V, thank you so much for the super chat. V, didn't I see you backstage? What happened? V says, how did we get here? Tree knows the chaos is from Louie. She supports it. They're one in the same. Damn. Thank you for the super chat, V. All right. Let me bring up Miss Esquire. Let's see if it's working now. Miss Esquire, are you there? Miss Esquire? What's happening? I don't know what's happening, Miss Esquire. Keep trying. We'll try you back in a second. All right. Sarai, I'm going to bring you up next. What's going on, Sarai?
Hi, Kempire. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So I literally just got off of work, just got off. But this episode was most, like, in the words of Marlo Hampton, today drained. This episode was draining. All I want to say is I just worry for Teresa's 4 beautiful daughters because Louie is a dangerous man. It's been proven time and time again by his past exes, and I'm worried for those 4 beautiful girls. I really do believe Joe and Melissa love Teresa and love those girls, and I hope for the sake of her daughters, she mends the relationship. Not even for the sake of her daughters, but for the sake of her beloved parents. I don't think they would be happy to see the state of their relationship. And Louie is a red freak. I'm so tired of seeing him on my screen. Teresa,
what
run.
What do you mean? Look, what do you mean?
He looks like Larry the Lobster. He's so red. He just freaks me out. I need him gone. But happy Pride, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
You too, Sarai. Take care. If you are in the live chat, I have dropped the call in link for you guys to call in and share your thoughts. I'm going to bring up Sir Capricorn next. What's going on, Sir Capricorn?
Hey, Kempire. So I'm gonna try to get through this real quick.
Okay.
Y'all leave Mr. Krabs alone. Let Teresa be happy with Mr. Krabs. Now Teresa is a good housewife because she's a good villain and an anti-hero and knows how to drive the show. And also, we gotta also think back to when season 5, where Dr. V said that when Melissa speaks, it doesn't de-escalate the issue between Joe and Teresa. It keeps escalating it. So I think sometimes Melissa does need to butt out and let them have their conversation by themselves. Dolores is necessary because she's like a Cynthia, and Cynthia was necessary. Gia called him about the wedding, and he said Melissa didn't want to come, and she said, "Do better for Nono and Nona. Come walk us down the aisle." That's what I believe. Frank was a real estate attorney, so I'm confused about that whole Joe thing. Last thing, the food is all you need is a first and last name to gather info for someone. But also, how was the PI able to do it and not the people that were there to serve her for the adoption? That's all I have for today.
Thank you so much. Take care, Sir Capricorn. All right. Let me just get through these super chats. Thank you guys so much for the super chats and the Venmos, the Cash Apps, the PayPals. We see those normally after the live, but thank you so much in advance for supporting us. The Sanders, the Sanderson sisters. Thank you so much for the super chat. They say, yes, Teresa still treats Melissa like the new girlfriend or something, as though she isn't the mother to her niece and nephews. She never said why she hates her for real. Well, Teresa did get emotional in this reunion. She was like, we used to be best friends. We used to be best friends. Kay, thank you so much for the super chat. Kay says Teresa and Louie should reboot Married to the Mob. Flying Monkey Toads, thank you so much for the super chat. They say girl needs an annulment before he ruins her whole entire life. I think it's too late for an annulment, but they're not even married a year yet. And they'll be married a year maybe next month or the following month, this summer. All right, let me get to some more callers. All right, Miss Bernice, I'm going to bring you up next. What's going on, Miss Bernice?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I'm fine. Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me get my words right. Okay. Fuda, he give me street pharmaceuticals, biker gang, enforcer back in the day. So I wouldn't mess with him. So Louie should leave him alone. And Rock Lobster. He act like, you remember in Godfather when the sister married the son-in-law and he thought he's gonna be running everything because he's in the family. You married your sister. You don't have no say-so on the family business. Their loyalty is to the sister, not to you. Everybody's loyalty is to Teresa, not to you. You got to earn that, and you didn't earn yours. Teresa breaking down and crying, saying, we blood, and Nona and them will be ashamed. When he married Melissa, the Bible says you cleave to your wife, and you become one. It didn't say you cleave to the wife, and then the sister, and the mother, and the father. He said cleave to the wife. You've been jealous of your sister-in-law since day one, and you showed that through this whole thing, and that's sad. That's on your part, not on Melissa's part. Other than that, I'm glad this toxic merry-go-round is over.
For now.
I can go back. I can go back and finish listening to my Luther and continue with my day.
Bye, Miss Bernice. Thanks for calling in.
Okay,
Bye.
You too. Bye.
Happy birthday to Miss Beverly in the chat. I see that she's celebrating her birthday today. So happy birthday to Miss Beverly, who calls in all the time. We appreciate her constant support and funny. Hope you have a fantastic day. Judgy Justice, we're going to bring you up next. What's going on, Judgy Justice? I can't hear you, Judgy Justice. What's going on today? Judgy Justice, you're muted. Try again. Judgy Justice, drop out and call back in. All right, we're going to bring up Allison next. What's going on, Allison?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So I just have to say, all season long, it's been utterly brutal watching this show. I found that this reunion has been the most exciting part of the whole thing. I wish that we could do this more in real time because I feel like we missed a really good chapter between the end of filming and to the reunion, that a lot of interesting things took place. I would have liked to have seen that play out. And I just wanted to say that I think it's so funny that Louie again addressed the pajama comment and just made it worse. And so I just don't understand how he would not have a PR person to figure this out. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Allison, for calling in. Take care.
Have a great day.
You too. All right, we're going to bring up In My Opinion next. Hold on. In My Opinion, how are you?
Hey, Kempire, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm blessed by the best and highly favored.
Amen. What's going on?
Let me, let me tell you something, Kempire. What I saw was two people that was hurt and they didn't realize how bad they had hurt each other. And I feel like this is a shame, not only for them, because I feel like it's a struggle. You know what I'm saying? And because Melissa wants to be famous so bad, and we all know she wanted to be famous. She wanted to be famous so bad that they not let them get themselves together first before they actually did this show together. And I think that's where everything fell apart. Because even when she first came on the show, remember they had the christening for the little Joey. He was the baby then.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember they was acting crazy then. They didn't want Teresa there, and all the times that he done fought Joe Judice and everything else, it seems like they're only happy when Teresa is by herself, and that's sad. Even though Teresa doesn't respect their marriage, they don't respect hers neither. So it's a fault on both sides. But you have a blessed day. Get you something good to eat.
Thank
Get you
you.
something good to drink. Stay hydrated. Stay
Thank you.
healthy.
You're right. I need to do that. Thank you, Mr. My Opinion. Take care. Happy birthday to Rasani too. I didn't know it was your birthday, Rasani. Happy birthday to Rasani. These folks have been on the channel for a very long time. We appreciate our OGs. Shout out to our OGs here on the channel. We're gonna get to some more callers, but let me just say thank you. We had a couple of super chats. Sharon, thank you so much for another super chat. Sharon says, "Look at the pictures. Lil Frankie is still hanging out with Louie. Be Team You." I did talk about that earlier when we were talking about the whole Frankie situation. I think Frankie is just not. He's not going to. He's not about the animosity. You know what I mean? So I think that's what that's about. Claire, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you supporting the channel as well. Did I miss anyone? Okay, I think I got everyone. If I missed your super chat, guys, I apologize. We have over 2,000 people in the building for our recap of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. But if you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts on the episode, on the season overall. How do you want the season to look like next season? Do you want to see Teresa and Melissa come back? Do you just want to see Teresa come back? Do you just want to see Melissa come back? Let us know your thoughts in the live chat and in the comments section. Let me just say thank you, V. Thank you so much for another super chat. V says, my lunch break ended, but I'm still watching and supporting. Thank you so much, V. We appreciate you. All right. And I appreciate you guys taking time on your lunch breaks. All right, Classy Lady, I'm going to bring you up next. What's going on, Classy Lady?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I was wanting to make a couple of comments. Really quickly though, there was a never before seen video with Frank and Joe Gorga trying to discuss Louie and Frankie's job situation and how what's his name, how Frank Sr. was upset about it, and it seems from what I have read. Um, it seems that this is that was Frankie's first job right out of college, and now he has a nice job in New York City with a really good firm, and they don't want anything from it to taint that or for him to lose that job. So I think that Dolores was trying to actually just save Frankie's job and his career versus anything with having to do with Tree's affiliation. I think it was all about trying to save her son's career.
Good point.
Also, I noticed when Gia was talking, she said Aunt Melissa instead of Zia Melissa, and I wonder was that like some slight shade or something?
Someone said that too.
Because she did say Zia Joe,
yeah,
but she said Aunt Melissa, so I just thought that was interesting.
Thank you, Classy Lady, for calling in.
You're welcome.
Bye. This is why I love when you guys call in, because that brings up a good point. Some of you speculated that maybe that this whole situation, the reason why a lot of people are very upset with Dolo and her handling of the question about Frankie. But we also have to think about Frankie Jr. right now. He has a life outside of this show. He has a career. Maybe she doesn't want to pull him into anything in regards to this because it might affect his career. Maybe the job will be like, okay, they're talking about you too much online. It's become a distraction for our company. It could be that too. I mean, it could be that. But like I said before, I still feel like Dolo could have handled that question. That could have shut down everyone very easily. And I felt like she chose this very cryptic way of handling it, as opposed to just be like, they don't work with each other anymore. He had a great experience. Frankie is good with Louie. Let's leave it at that. He's working somewhere else. All right, Stefan, I'm going to bring you up next. What's going on, Stefan?
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. I just want to say, like, I don't understand what Teresa sees in Louis. He looks nuts. Like, even just looking at him sitting back there, he looks a little crazy. And then the way he would throw out those threats, and then 2 seconds later he'd be like, "Oh, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that." It was just like lie after lie after lie. But two birds, same, you know. But also I want for overall I felt like the whole season was okay. This reunion was the best part. Melissa won, and honestly with Joe, I feel like he is truly over it. I've noticed him be a lot less reactionary this season. Like he's tried to like hear them out multiple times and everything. And even them going back and forth, he's not even like raising his voice or anything like that. He even shook that man's hand better
Mhm.
than me because he wouldn't even been able to touch me, and I just hope that they actually move on. And if I could choose one to come back, honestly, I want it to be Melissa. Sorry, I'm tired of Teresa, girl.
Uh,
Bye.
but wait, before Stefan, I'll give you a couple more seconds. Why
Yeah.
Melissa over Teresa?
Melissa, because I just feel like, I mean, yes, Teresa, she's just been there for so long. And honestly, people are saying that, it's Teresa's her storyline, but so is Melissa's Teresa's storyline. And I just feel like it's like you always say, you have to have a little bit of personality if you don't have a storyline. I
Yep.
feel like without Teresa holding, Melissa down and keep on bringing up the same old drama, I think that she can have fun. I think she has fun with the girls when they're out. When they were in Ireland, she didn't have any like crazy drama. She was having a good time drinking with the girls. I think she could be a lot more fun on the show if Teresa wasn't there still crying about the same thing 50 years later.
Okay. Thank you, Stefan, for calling in.
Bye.
Bye. We're going to bring up Freddie next. Hold on, Freddie. What's going on, Freddie?
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Oh, well, this New Jersey reunion, it was the best part of the whole season. And the majority of stuff they were talking about wasn't even in the season, which I thought was quite funny.
Right?
To me, with both Joe Gorga and Louis Ruelas, I think they're both very untrustworthy people. It's like trying to compare which burglar you trust or thinks the least likely to rob someone's house. So I think they're both pretty bad news. In terms of who returns, I think it's a hard one. This is the reason, as we know, why the show's on pause, because they're trying to work that out. Teresa, I think, on her own can give more of a storyline, but then when it comes to the husbands, you do have to appreciate that Joe Gorga does give a lot with the guys, and that is a really important aspect to this show. With John Fuda, I don't know whether he's a simpleton or if he is being fed what to say by both Joe and Melissa, because I do think with the whole thing about the Sun, at the end of the day, these media people are incredibly clever, and if they know his name, they can easily find these lawsuits that John Fuda has against his ex-girlfriend Brittany and what the details are there of those. And then all a journalist needs to do is they can easily find through those court records what prison she's in and try and set up an interview with her.
Yeah.
I don't think Louis would need to spend thousands of pounds on Bo Dido or some other investigator to acquire that information.
Yeah.
But I think it suits both the Gorga and Fuda's narrative because they're all on one team and they think maybe this could be a way of them trying to oust Teresa out of the show because Melissa, of course, wants it to be her show. She wants to be the head honcho now, and she's bored of Teresa, I guess, having or being seen as the main one of the show now.
Okay. All right, Freddie. Thank you so much for calling in.
You're very welcome. Speak to you soon.
Take care. All right. All right, guys, we're going to get some more. In regards to that, that is true, which is why I want to know what's in the damn manila envelope. And we all know that information, like when they started accusing Louis of digging information and that he was the reason that the blogs found out about Joe Fuda's ex, I was like, well, I mean, it really is not that hard to find her. However, I feel like there's more. And I feel like John Fuda was given information that directly connected Louie to the situation. I do feel like there was more, and that's why he's accusing Louie. But like you all have said, it's not impossible for anyone. Joe Schmo could find out that information on his ex. But look, maybe we'll find out. Here's the thing, too, and we'll get to these last couple of callers. Next season, in regards to the husbands, John Fuda already has an issue with Louie. So already the guys are going to be separated. So who's Louie going to film with? Bill Aiden? Who else are you filming with? Look. Bill? Who was on the side? Oh, Paulie? Paulie barely wants to show up. So all those husband scenes are going to be womp, womp, womp. Okay. Anyways, let me get to these last couple of callers. We're going to bring up Tiana next. What's going on, Tiana?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
I'm good. Okay, so I think that if the Real Housewives of New Jersey, if they really want to get rid of like the toxicity, then I think it makes sense for Teresa not to come back. And I only say that because if you remove Teresa, Melissa has a better standing with Jennifer, with Danielle, and because she's really, really fun in group settings, if you keep Teresa on, then is it going to be like she's not going to make amends with Margaret because Margaret's not going to make amends with her? If what's true about Louie, she's not going to make amends with the what's her name? Jennifer? Her name? No, not who the one on the end with the husband, John.
Oh, Rachel.
Rachel. She's not going to make amends with her, and then it's going to be this current divide that we're seeing amongst all of the Housewives shows. And then also, like I had said last week, if Teresa really believes that, Melissa and her brother really did this, then if Jennifer tries to film with Melissa, is Teresa now going to be upset with Jennifer? And then because that's how I would feel. I would feel like if I feel like this did me so wrong, and then if my friends are hanging out with you, whether it's for filming or not, I would feel some type of way about that. So I just think for moving on purposes, it just makes sense to remove Teresa. And then, like you said, with the husbands, because New Jersey is really one of the only franchises that features the husbands like that. I mean, you had a little bit with Atlanta back in the day, but not as much as they do now. It's like no one really messes with Louie. And I know, Jennifer's husband is cool with him, but I think even he's probably kind of sitting there like, you did what?
He must rather be at work.
Exactly. And so I just feel like it just makes sense to remove it because Teresa's not going to let it go. She hasn't let it go for the last 10 plus years. She's not going to let it go. And she can't articulate herself. Okay, that's it. Goodbye.
Thanks, Tiana. Take care. All right, we're going to take these last couple of callers because, look, I've been here a very long time. What, is it 2 hours yet? Yeah, over 2 hours. 2 hours and almost 15 minutes of our recap of the Real Housewives of New Jersey Reunion Part 3. Guys, don't forget it is Pride Month. After the live, you will see, or if you go check out one of our last videos, our fundraiser for the Trevor Project, an organization that's been raising money and helping our LGBTQIA youth for many decades. So be sure to check out one of our last videos. If you're part of the replay crew, it will be somewhere around here. Help us reach our goal of over $2,500 this month for Pride Month. And speaking of Pride, don't forget to get your Pride merch available at houseofkempire.com for this month alone. Be sure to check that out. Let's get to these last couple of calls. We're going to bring up Laurel next. What's going on, Laurel?
Hi, Kempire. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. So I just wanted to say that I also agree that I'd rather see Melissa back next season instead of the wicked sister-in-law from hell. I think that Melissa has like a energy, and especially when she's drunk, she's more fun. And aside from that, I think that Teresa and Louie actually make a really good couple. They're both like evil, and I think they like each other's evil. You know, like with Juicy Joe, I don't think he was like really into the shenanigans like that. He wasn't going to go through the expense of like going after Teresa's enemies on the cast. You know, aside from Melissa, who was family that they had mutual beef with. But like Louie is like down to clown. He is really interested in all of that shenanigans. So I think that they're good for each other, but they should not be in the show. That's all.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling in. All right. Just under a minute. All right. We're going to bring up Cheryl next. What's going on, Cheryl? What are your thoughts?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Can
Uh-oh. Cheryl? I think you got bad reception, Cheryl. Do me a favor. Drop out and call back in. For some reason, I heard you for a second, and then I didn't hear you. I'm going to bring up Mahala next. What's going on, Mahala?
Hi, Kempire. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. This is a message again for all the tree stumps. I'm sorry, I just had to say it. I just hope they are there for their girl when she eventually falls on her butt with this man. I mean, it's just very sad. It's just so sad to see Teresa because she's very much one of those girls that will defend a man blindly just for the sake of it. And just for no reason, even though we've seen her with Juicy Joe, we've seen her now with Louie, and we see how Juicy Joe treated her. We see now how Louie is treating people around her. And I don't know if y'all caught it last night, but when Louie was, I think he was talking to Joe or John, and he said, "Let's play" to one of them.
Yeah.
Which is something that Teresa has said. It very much gave me Brooks from OC, Vicky's boyfriend, when he used to say things that Vicky used to say, and just gave me the energy that Louie studied the show like Brooks, and is just kind of there for an opportunity like Brooks was. But I'm done. That was just my observation.
Okay. Mahala, thank you so much for calling in. Whew. Okay, let's try Cheryl again. What's going on, Cheryl? Are you there?
Can you hear me this time?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can. Okay, did you guys see the after show that Danielle said she probably doesn't want to do it again? She said she didn't like it, and she said she didn't like it, and she doesn't think she can do this again. I don't know if I believe that because she likes the attention. So I don't know. She's twerking on a fence, like.
Or maybe she's been told that she's not coming back.
Maybe. But yeah, because her and her husband had nothing really to say. If you notice that, they didn't really say much at the reunion. They were very quiet.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, Cheryl, I think we lost you again. Cheryl. Damn it. All right. Cheryl, it's okay. We got to go anyway. We appreciate you calling in, and thank you for dropping that information. Here are my final thoughts. Let me switch this out. Here are my final thoughts on this reunion that has, oh my goodness, it has wore us thin. It has wore us out as much as worn out as Louie's red face looks here. I'm so happy that Teresa is happy. Good for you, girl. Good for you. She got married this season. She fell out with her brother. It looks like Teresa and Melissa have shown how they really feel about each other at the end of this. And they still were able to coexist. But do we see the future of these two coexisting on the same show? I don't think so. But I've said this before, and I've said this about Melissa before. I feel like the last couple of seasons, Melissa has been reaching for a storyline. The last 3 or 4 seasons, honestly. And I feel like, Melissa, you need to start thinking about what you're going to tell the producers your storyline is going to be for this season. I'm sure there's plenty of things going on in your life. Maybe it's time to bring your sisters on the show so you can show the fun and the relationship you have with them. Maybe they don't want to be on the show because I don't understand why we haven't delved into more of Melissa's family stuff besides, the long lost sister. You know what I mean? And I know they've been on the show before, but a little bit more. Because she has a genuinely great relationship. But then again, do you want to ruin your relationship, the genuine relationship you have with your sisters for a show? Maybe not. Look, maybe not. Not maybe not. This has been a long and arduous, toxic fan base season for the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And I know the producers, the editors, the cameramen, Andy Cohen, and the housewives and the husbands are probably worn out, more so by the fans than anything. But the fans take your lead. If you weren't as toxic as the fans probably wouldn't be as toxic. Do I want to see Teresa and Melissa come back next season? I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to the producers. But what I do know, I do not want to hear about their back and forth anymore. Not about the same stuff. You snuck and got on the show. You stole the pizza oven. I don't want to hear anything about everything you've talked about before. Let it go. I just don't know how they will be able to coexist. I know Andy tried to make it seem like they were able to coexist this season. No, they were barely. And since we find out that Danielle says that she doesn't think that she can do another season, maybe she's found out that she won't be coming back. Because when you look back at her performance at the reunion, which is what producers look back at, they look back at your performance at the reunion. That is really the nail in the coffin or the cherry on top for you coming back. Maybe they decided not to bring her back. We shall see. I don't believe for a second she doesn't want to come back. She wants to get the bougie kids off the ground. I'm so glad the season's over. But you know we always have another toxic show to talk about. Guys, stay tuned. We got to talk about The Ultimatum, Queer Love. I got to go catch up on the episodes I've missed. We might do a special live on Friday to talk all about it. If you enjoy content like this, we don't just talk about reality TV or reality TV news. We talk about everything in pop culture. So be sure to subscribe. Be sure to follow us on all socials at TheKempire, at Kempire Daily, and at Kempire Radio. Subscribe to the Kempire Radio podcast as well. Thank you for these super chats. Let me just say thank you. We have a few more super chats. Lee says, why is Margaret mad if Louie investigated her? She's been doing that to the cast for years. If you have nothing to hide, what's the big deal? Well, I think she was also upset about the smear campaign that they were accusing him of as well. Sharon, thank you so much for the super chat. Sharon says, Teresa and Joe are brother and sister. Yes, blood relatives. Look, blood don't mean nothing. I keep telling you guys that. If a person is toxic in your life, don't stay in that toxic situation just because they're your blood relative. All right? Anyways, thank you to everyone that sent in a super chat. Shout out to our members of the channel. We appreciate your monthly support. And thank you to our King's Guards for being here for 2.5 hours and for holding us down in the live chat throughout all of the strong opinions. But shout out to our live chatters, our subscribers, for being decent to each other. Let's continue this decent conversation in the comment section. And as always, we do not moderate adult. Reminder, okay? Just saying. Let's get out of here with some music, guys. Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday. Let's continue this conversation in the chat. Let's get out of here, y'all.
Gazing at the blue of the night, stars are filling up the sky. You take my hand in yours, we'll make our own constellations. I could say how much you mean to me, but it won't mean a thing, 'cause words never sound quite right. Let's find our own kind of language. We've searched the whole world and all around it. Didn't know what we were looking for till we found it. They could say they've seen the highest mountain, bottom of the deepest sea, but no one's ever seen a love like this. They could dig up all the baby treasures where it's worth more than anything, but no one's ever seen a love like this. on us now. Oh, but we don't care, do we? Oh, I can't imagine a world where anyone loves anyone like I love you. They could say they've seen the highest mountain, bottom of the deepest sea, but no one's ever seen a love like this. They could dig up all the baby treasures where it's worth more than anything, but no one's ever seen a love like Nobody ever seen it. Nobody ever seen the love. Nobody ever seen a love like this. A love like this. We have searched the whole world and all around it. Didn't know what we were looking for till we found it. They could say they've seen the highest mountain, bottom of the deepest sea, but no one's ever seen a love like this. They could dig up all the baby treasures where